If you looked at a typical budget for a university student, what do you think they'd spend most of their money on, guys?
Books. Textbooks. You can tell I didn't go to university, can't you?
Entertaining?
Entertaining.
Yeah, well, in Wellington, students say that there's one thing that's costing them way more than it should. Here's Jahan Castaneda.
The capital is crawling with buses. And if you're a bureaucrat, a business person or a poor student, you pay exactly the same fare.
It's something you feel like you don't have that much control over, and that's probably why it's really stressful for a lot of people.
Sam spends $40 a week getting to and from uni.
There's no other option. It's not quite as simple as saying, oh, just walk to uni. I don't have a spare hour there and an hour back in my life.
And believe it or not, it's affecting her studies.
And it's like, oh my gosh, where am I going to find another $40 for the next week? And that's when I start being like, looking through my diary, looking through my timetable, like, which would be the best day to wag.
Sam's not the only one.
You've got days where it's like, well, my pass has run out, I can't afford to top up my Snapper card, just going to stay at home today because you literally cannot afford to get to class.
Emily can't get a student allowance. She spends $145 a month on bus fares, money she has to borrow.
I've actually said to my manager at work I can't work certain days just because the buses don't run, and so I'd have to pay more to get into town, and for a 3 or 4 hour shift it's not worth it.
Wellington's Regional Council gives high school students a discount on buses and trains, but not tertiary students.
You want to catch a ride?
Surprise, surprise, the Students' Association isn't happy.
Students are always asking for more money. Well, I think we put a deal in facts, and the facts are that students mostly earn under $210 a week. Yeah, there's some outliers, but by and large, they don't have a lot of capacity to earn. There's a lot of students are struggling, a lot of students finding it very hard to find work or to make ends meet.
The association's running a campaign called Fairer Fares. They're targeting the council. 2,000 students have signed postcards in support.
In other cities like Auckland, they've got a student concession where students get 40% off, and actually it's been really successful there.
Could that happen in Wellington? Well, the council's asking some questions.
Who is it fair that we should give concessions to? Is it fair? Is that fair? Is it fairer? Are those fair options?
The options students want could come at a big cost.
Our very conservative modelling says that a 50% concession for tertiary students here in Wellington region would cost $4 million.
Yep, $4 million, and ratepayers would have to stump up half of it.
And the way to make that up is either to raise everyone else's fares or to raise everyone else's transport rates, or some combination of those two.
The chances of the council saying yes to that, well, not great.
If you're actually earning good money but happen to do a paper at university, I don't see any good argument about why you should only pay half price for your public transport.
The students are sticking to their message though. They've got the support of some councillors, and they're hoping they don't backpedal.
Why don't students take pedal bikes to uni rather than buses?
Well, Wellington has a lot of hills, if you hadn't noticed, and a lot of wind. This is the only city in New Zealand which doesn't have a student concession and mighty big hills.
Now, if I can sum up the reaction to the story so far online, it comes down to two words: harden up. A lot of people, like Tristan, for example, says, hey, students have got legs, walk or bike or whatever.
I think you're taking a really us versus them against the students stance here, people. Surely it's all of us versus the bus company.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true, because there's a whole bunch of other people that could fit in that group, people who aren't students but just struggle for bucks, or the elderly, or a whole bunch of other people.
Auckland is the only city which actually subsidises student fares. So Auckland subsidises by 38%. That's doubled the number of students using public transport. But, Auckland and Wellington, the students both live so far away from university.
But in Hamilton, where you're from, and as I didn't go to university, how did you get on? Attach your electrodes of knowledge to my nipples of ignorance, Jessie.
I was lucky enough to live in Hamilton with my parents while I was at university, so Mum used to drop me off at and I can tell you...
I can't believe you just said that.
The students were very jealous.